Since we did Philadelphia, we had to follow it up with the other major Pennsylvanian cities, starting with P. So here are the No, not Pottsville. Pittsburgh. Here are the stadiums and arenas of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Why would they think I was talking about Pottsville? Come on. Acrisure Stadium. Much like the Eagles of Philadelphia, the Steelers share their home with the college football team, but they also share it with the fictional team from the DC universe called the Gotham Rogues. The stadium has recovered surprisingly well since it was completely destroyed beyond repair. Like a couple of the other stadiums in the city, Acrisure Stadium is situated in a prime location by the rivers. Speaking of Heinz Field, it's not often that fans are upset that a stadium name has been changed from one corporation to another, but this place was known as Heinz Field since it opened in 2001, until a couple of years ago. Heinz is a Pittsburgh icon, and Acrisure is just some insurance broker that isn't even local. They also got rid of those giant sauce bottles that were themselves iconic. You could always just visit the Heinz Museum a couple of miles down the Allegheny. I think you can see one of them in there. It's not that one. I wonder if the stadium management regrets the name change in hindsight. Anyway, it's a great stadium to start off with. Peterson Event Center. Unlike the football team, the Pitt Panthers basketball and volleyball teams do play at an on-campus venue. A rather nice one at that. The exterior is comprised of plenty of glass. It's looking very sharp. Speaking of which, in 2011, a bizarre incident occurred, where a concert goer ran through a window, allegedly whilst impersonating a football player. He fell 4 floors and eventually died from the injuries. I'm assuming he was under the influence of something. Anyway, although it's not that common, I always like it when there is some sort of localized theme to the center-hung video board. This might be one of my favorites of all. It features one of the city's iconic yellow bridges. I think we might be seeing more of those later on. Highmark Stadium. Not to be confused with Highmark Stadium. It is much smaller than the stadium in Buffalo that shares its name, but I think that's actually a good thing in this case because it makes the most of the spectacular location. It's situated between a river and a hill, with a train track in between on either side. A beautiful setting for a football ground, or indeed an amphitheater, which is what previously occupied the site. The stadium was built for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, a USL Championship soccer club who have been here since it opened. They have been sporadically joined by other teams. Currently it's shared with the Thunderbirds, an ultimate frisbee team, but you probably knew that already, owing to the wall-to-wall media coverage that ultimate frisbee has nowadays. How good is Pat Hogan? He's my favourite. I see he knows his frisbee well. A little way down the Ohio River, in the township of Moon, there is a university called Robert Morris University, which is a university named after Robert Morris. In case you weren't familiar, he was once the richest man in the US, and is considered to be an honorary founding father. Not to be confused with the founding partners. Pepsi was integral to the formation of this great country. Anyway, enough nonsense. Robert Morris's only sports venue that meets the capacity cutoff for this video is UPMC Event Center. Yes, it has a larger capacity than their football stadium, and is better equipped. See, most video boards don't have their own yellow bridges. It's just wrong. This is a nice little arena though. PNC Park is one of everybody's favorite Major League ballparks. And there are several good reasons for that. Before you even step inside, you're greeted with this distinctive limestone facade, which was partially inspired by Forbes Field, where the Pirates played from 1909 to 1970. Sitting in the outfield is considered to be undesirable at most ballparks, but that is especially true at PNC Park, where those sitting behind home plate are treated with what is almost certainly the most spectacular backdrop in Major League Baseball, or any of the big US leagues for that matter. River? Check. Bridge? Check. City skyline? Check. Czech Republic? No, you can't see that, but that's to be expected. Honestly, even if you despise baseball for some reason, it's probably worth buying a ticket, sitting up in the nosebleeds in the sunshine, and enjoying some kielbasa or something. And to think the Pirates and the Steelers used to play just over here at what was an ugly multi-purpose stadium with no view. When your granddad tells you that things were better back in his day, remind him of that. PPG Paints Arena. There wasn't much PPG paint used in the making of this arena. As just like the Pete, the exterior is comprised of a whole lot of glass and plenty of raw masonry. They couldn't be too outlandish with the exterior design, as there are several historic buildings nearby that they don't want to clash with, including a Catholic church that is just a few yards away. Beautiful. Imagine if the arena looked like that. It'd be like one of those bull rings in Portugal or Spain. As for the interior, well, it's more reminiscent of Antarctica. Not only is it icy, but it's home to the Penguins. Pittsburgh Penguins is a perfect name for an ice hockey team, isn't it? Not only is it alliterated, but penguins are just about the only animal that slides around on ice with speed and agility, just as the players themselves do. They're not quite as agile while they're waddling though. Not only do spectators get a great view of the action on the rink, but they also get a lovely view of that church from the concourse. Rostrava Ice Garden is a long way from the center of town, but apparently it still counts as Pittsburgh. It just looks like a shed in the forest, but it can apparently hold 5,000 spectators. It opened way back in 1965 when this area would have been even more isolated. The seating looks even smaller than its 5,000 capacity suggests, but we'll take their word for it. It currently has several tenants, perhaps most notably the hockey teams representing California University of Pennsylvania. Am I having a stroke? California University of Pennsylvania. No, there it is right there, written in black and white. The university campus itself is even further away, yet it's still within the metro area. So let's check out the Convocation Center, a beautiful building that is home to the school's basketball and volleyball teams. The capacity of 4,000 may seem small, but apparently it was controversially large. In fact, the then president of the university was fired, partially due to the construction of this building. It certainly looks larger than the last one we saw, and it definitely has better amenities, including a train that runs right by the arena. I mean, there's no stop, so you'll just have to jump, but, it's probably not that hard. Just the trick is to keep all of your limbs intact. And those were the stadiums of Pittsburgh. What did we learn? Well, Pittsburgh has some picturesque stadiums, but also Pittsburgh loves alliteration and the color yellow. Thanks for watching, have a good one.